feeling like there might be something wrong with you because you haven't found your friends yet, there is nothing wrong with you. Hi everyone, welcome to the Roaming Collective podcast. I'm your host, Trisha. I'm the founder of the Roaming Collective. I am a certified human design reader and intuitive. So this past weekend, I worked a retreat and I did mini human design readings there. And I realized how important in-person community is. And I know this year, the year of 2026, is huge for community. There's just a lot more in-person connection. People are ready to be back in person and to really be interacting with other people. And I had so many good, deep conversations. I was at this retreat on Sunday for over 8 hours. It went over the time of when it was supposed to be. I had my table up and I just had so many people come up to the table, and like some people I actually did do human design readings for. A couple other people we just sat and chatted. And here's the thing that I think really worked and what was in my mindset during that time. I really was just trying to be open, and I was trying not to force or chase. I was just open to chatting with people. I was not trying to force them to get human design readings. I was like, if it feels aligned, great. If not, great too. I was, getting up and mingling for when it felt aligned, but I was like, let me also just sit at my table and just see who shows up, right? Because I was like, I don't want to be running around this whole retreat trying to get to chat with people and trying to get, just like trying to like be chaotic. I was like, let me just be regal and let me sit at this table. And if someone isn't here in this exact moment, totally fine. I know someone else will be appearing. There's so many people at this retreat. And I tell you, the people who actually sat down and next to me, I was just so eternally grateful because I felt like we had really good conversations. I actually got to have like deep conversations with people and to really like understand more about what they are wanting in this lifetime, and also just like learning more about what they do, but also just I felt very seen. And it felt really good to be in a space where it felt like there was just really good energy, where people were so excited to be connecting with other people. And I think that really sets the tone for so many different places that you go. Environment of it is really the key too, because having a space where people feel like that they're excited to be meeting you, I think changes the game. Where, if you're in a space where people are a little bit more closed off, or sometimes like, let's say there's like a lot of groups there and people that you don't know, then that can feel a little bit like, oh, I don't really want to like go up to people then, right? So it kind of like almost like you can sense some of that. And so I think trying to be in spaces where if you are looking for more of that community and you're looking for more of that in-person connection, seek out places that are more collaborative, more community-based, and places where people are excited and in a similar framework, right? People might have different mindsets. People might have different things that they're offering and things that they're bringing. But if you're in a group of people who their core thing is to actually be able to bond with other people, then I think that's it, right? Then that'll kind of set the tone for everything else. And when I left, I just felt so good. I felt very energized. And I know when this happens to me, so I'm a sacral generator. So if you have listened to human design, you can go back, listen to the episode 2, where I talk about human design. But mine is the way that my energy is, I'm very body based. So I have to sometimes I have to actually have things to respond to. And that also includes going to environments. And before I went there, I was already kind of in a low mood a little bit. I was feeling a little because I had work the night before, even though I had known that this was going to happen and I had the retreat the next day. I was just not feeling it. I was just oh gosh. And so I was trying to get myself to be in a better mood. I was trying to honor my low mood, but I was also trying to okay, I don't want to show up and just bring that energy to everyone and just be in a negative mindset. And so I was really trying to regulate before I went to the event, and I was still just feeling a little off. It's going to be what it's going to be, right? I can't control my mood. Sometimes my mood is just my mood, and I'm just going to have to embrace it and just still show up and still be myself, right? No matter what mood I'm in, I'm still me. And I was I know my energy and I know myself will still carry on even if I'm feeling a different way. When I went there, once everyone started to like really come in the door and like things are starting to move and things are starting to happen there, my energy and my mood shifted like that. Like I think because I finally had things to respond to. So in a generator way, how you get opportunities, how you're meant to move through life is to allow things that you can respond to. So like your aura is always bringing things in. It's just really honoring and waiting for things to respond to. And then that'll kind of give your sacral, or however your authority is, how you're meant to make decisions. That'll give you cues to know, okay, I'm meant to respond, or like I'm meant to feel so lit up about this. That's how I know that I'm on the right track. And I felt just, again, so energized. And it made me realize that sometimes, well, I'll speak for myself. Sometimes I put myself in a silo. I'm in charge of regulating those emotions. However, sometimes when you're in environments, it made me realize like it's not always on me to always have to be lifting myself up every single 5 seconds, right? Like sometimes it's nice to be in an environment and absorbing that and feeling that, and then that automatically naturally raises you up, because I don't think I could have gotten there to like in a better mood that day and how fast or however it may have looked if I wasn't at this retreat. That was also just a good reminder for myself too, that it's okay to be in environments and to feel like, to go in with like, okay, I'm open to whatever is going to happen. And it's great if like, you know, you're feeling a little bit low and sometimes you meet someone, sometimes like, you know, a situation, something, and then you naturally get excited. Like that is good. That's how we're meant to kind of be moving through life and how you're meant to like respond and have things come in and out. So it's okay if sometimes you're a little bit in a low mood, still go and do it anyway. Unless you were absolutely feeling very depleted, exhausted, where you're like, yes, I actually need a rest day. But you will know if you're like, okay, I'm actually choosing not to do this because I don't want to, or am I choosing this because I'm kind of like delaying and I'm like kind of like, oh, I don't really want to, but I kind of want to, but then I don't. It's like, that can also sometimes feel it's a little bit overtaking, right? So sometimes if you know that you're like, you actually want to do it, but then you're kind of convincing yourself out of it, go and do it anyway. Because I was there for like way longer, and honestly, I didn't really want to leave, but I was like, I actually need to go eat dinner and like take care of myself, because I've also learned I have to eat now. I have to very much have like meals and snacks and stuff, because if I don't, I physically in my body, I'm like exhausted. I'm like, I can't speak to anyone until I get food. I'm like, I cannot talk to you. I cannot engage. Like I need to have like a full dinner. I need to have a full meal, and then I feel like I have more of the energy and the ability to like do things and collaborative and creative and everything. So anyway, eating is just extremely important to me now. I'm like, I have to have my meals and my snacks. Those are a non-negotiable for me. But when I left, even when I got home, because I got home a little bit later, like close to 9, it took me a little bit of time to actually like come down, because I just felt like I had so much energy from this, and I just felt so like alive and excited, and I had to like regulate and get back into it. So I had to do like a little meditation. I had to just do like turn the light slow, just so I could kind of slow my body down, because sometimes I get in these environments and sometimes it's hard for me to like go from that and then transition immediately to bed. Like I need a little bit of a window that helps me kind of like get ready for sleep. But anyway, moral of the story of why I wanted to bring this up was that I just remembered and I realized connection is so important, especially in-person experiences and attending these things where you feel like you just have this like connection with people and you just feel like you can feel seen and feel heard. And I feel like that is so important. And especially at the Roaming Collective and the gatherings that I'm doing, I really want to make sure that that feels like this is a space that can be cultivated and a place where people are open, people are ready to receive friends, people are ready to give and to receive, and that they are ready to like be in an environment where it feels like a community. And also to make things a little bit easier, right? Because the other thing I wanted to talk about today, and this idea just really came to me today that I was like, oh, I just feel like I really wanted to share it, was that there is a lot of rhetoric around friendships and a lot of shame, embarrassment around sometimes needing friends. And I want to just remove any of those emotions or feelings around it. Totally, feel your feelings, absolutely feel that. I want to take out some of that like shame and embarrassment around it, because it is so normal. And I wish it was a little bit more normalized, because think about it. Growing up, you were always around people your own age. You're in school, you're in class, you're in sports, you're in groups. Like everyone around you is in your own age. And then you have your family or like whoever you live with, which is your support system. And you just felt there's just like a different sort of foundation. And then you were with people who were going through a similar journey that you were going through in that moment. So everyone was very much like in that age, in that time, and everyone's kind of navigating it together. Even into college, which you get a little bit more freedom, but you still are around people your own age. You're still like in a similar environment. It's a little bit more contained, but you have a little bit more of that like freedom and that choice to be going and doing things. And then when you get out into the real world and adulthood, all of that just kind of like disperses, and then you're expected to just know how to do these things. Like you're just expected to know how to go and meet people and make friends. And especially if you work remote or if you work in an environment and sometimes you're like, the people that I'm talking to, like they're not really like in my same frame of mind of where I'm looking for friendship. Like I think that has also changed over the years too, where sometimes people would be actually going in office for a 9 to 5. That was feeling like, oh, that is also where you meet your friends. And when I first moved to Chicago, that's where I made a lot of my friends, was like throughout my time in corporate America. And over time though, I was starting to realize that the older you get, the like harder it is, because everyone's on different life paths, everyone's in different transitions. And I think there should be so much more normalization around life transitions and how that's so common, and how friends can move away, you can move away, you know, friends get married, friends have babies, you could get married, you can have, like there's so much change that is always constant. And there's just not really a space where you can go and just to be like, hey, I'm going through a life transition, or I'm just looking for some friends right now, and I am just ready to receive that. Because it's almost kind of like, again, putting it back on you of a system where you have to go find these friends and you need to go and find these people. And the framework isn't really there in the real world, especially if you're working all the time and then you feel like you want to have energy to go out and do things, but then sometimes putting yourself in situations and like going into these events can feel draining, especially if you're not going to the right ones, if you're not going to ones that feel like they're aligned. And then you almost feel a little bit more lonely again, because you're leaving the event and then you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't even really feel like I felt seen or heard. And then I'm feeling like I feel lonely, because then I get home and I'm like, well, then I wasted time going to that. And let me tell you, I have been in every single one of those situations. Like when I was living in Chicago, there were bouts at times where I did feel very lonely. There were a lot of times where I would just be like, a lot of my friends, sometimes they were out doing their own things, and sometimes I would be like at home in my apartment. I think as a society, a lot of it is built around couples, or a lot of it is built around doing things in pairs. And it can feel very scary when it's just you and you're like, okay, now I have to go and just put myself out there, especially if you're not used to that. If you're not used to going and attending things and going to things and just like trying to like go up and talk to people, it can feel very daunting. And I think sometimes that's what happens, where you get very excited to go to something and then you're like almost get in your head and then you kind of talk yourself out of it. And you're like, oh, but maybe I shouldn't go this time, because what if I don't click with the people there? No one's going to like me, right? All the stories that our mind tells us. But if you feel, before you go somewhere, if you feel aligned and you feel excited about it, go to it. Go to it. And sometimes if you might be feeling a little bit like, oh, I should go, but I shouldn't go, trust your intuition, trust your judgment. If you want to do it, go to it. Don't let anyone else stop you. Do not let anything else get in your way, because whatever experience you're meant to go is what you're meant to have. And there's so much joy into trying different things, into trying different hobbies. And you can just go to one thing and just see if you like it. Like you can just go rock climbing. You can go to an art class. You could go try pottery. You can go to yoga. Like there's just so many things that kind of help with that. And that's another idea too. So if you are not currently in Austin, where we're doing our gatherings, which hopefully we'll be expanding into other cities here very shortly, that is my advice, is go to classes. That is a huge one, because sometimes people are a little bit more receptive to like chatting, and there's like already people there, so you feel like you're not just like going to like alone to it. So go to ones where you might be actually like chatting with people. So just keep an eye out where there might be like more collaborative stuff, more of like just being able to like network and bond. and try to keep an eye out for those. Try to find places where people are already going to be interacting and there's already an activity, so you can talk to people about it, where you can chat and be like, oh my gosh, no way, like I love this thing too. Because I feel like when you're naturally in your element doing things that you love, then you are attracting other people who are in a similar frame of mind where they might love that activity too, and then you have a topic to talk about. And when you show up, just try to be open and receptive. And I know it can feel so hard, especially when you're feeling lonely for a long time and you're feeling like frustrated. If there's ever a moment, just try to at least a little ounce, just try to be a little bit more receptive, a little bit more open, and just a little available. And then just see what comes in. And even if you don't meet an immediate best friend at that event, you still put yourself out there, and that is a win. And that is still just like, you never know. You never know the people that you might meet. You might know that, who knows, maybe someone you met there might actually have a friend, or who knows, like there's just so much that could still come into play. And the fact that you're like putting yourself out there is showing that you're available for more of that. And then you're available for more of it. And then you'll be able to like attract more of that, of what you're looking for. And I think too, especially as, you know, I think this is so common as well that this isn't fully discussed either, is that the older you get, the more relationships and friendships will ebb and flow. And sometimes there are friends that you feel like you have a certain relationship with, and sometimes you can go a while without talking and then pick it up as if, you know, they're like there and nothing, no time has passed. And then sometimes you have friends where you talk to them a little bit more regularly. Sometimes you have friends you can see in person. And it can feel hard when you have a lot of friends who are not local in your city anymore, or friends who don't really respond as much, or friends that aren't feeling like they are reaching up to what you're needing. And I would just recommend really being clear on what you are needing right now. Are you feeling like you actually want people that you can connect with in person? Are you wanting people who you feel like you can just like call and talk to? Or like be really clear about what you are actually wanting and needing out of friendship, and literally write it down. Write down like, okay, my ideal friendship, I feel like I want to be able to connect with like one person a week, or see people a couple of times a month, and just kind of get clear on what you're actually wanting. Because then again, you'll be able, almost like a relationship in dating sometimes, because then you kind of have your boundaries and your barriers where you're like, okay, this type of friendship is maybe not for me. Because sometimes for me, what I've attracted in the past sometimes is like flaky friendships. Sometimes you would have a plan and then wouldn't show up. Or sometimes people would take a very long time to get back to me. And that was always feeling a little tough if you were feeling like you're actually really needing a lot of connection that day, and then your friend doesn't get back to you a week later. That can also feel really tough. So just trying to find the balance of like friends who are meeting you where you are too. And feeling like there's people who are actually excited to go and hang out with you, and people who actually are ready to receive your friendship. And then you're also ready to give that friendship as well. And, you know, friendships sometimes will grow apart, and sometimes they'll flow, and sometimes you're like, I don't know if this person is really like meant to be in my life right now. And sometimes naturally that space just kind of happens, and like allow that space to happen, and allow yourself to feel that grief or that pain or just anything about some of that separation. And then when that person sort of slowly leaves out, know that like someone else is going to enter in. And I think that's part of the abundance mindset and abundance lens to get into, is that there's so many people that you haven't met yet, and there's so many people who are excited to be your friend. And when you get into that mindset, that really opens and expands it, so that way it doesn't feel as like almost feeling like lonely and just like tough and like feeling very isolated, because you're like, oh my gosh, I was like my one friend and now they're gone. And of course, every single person, like there is so much special in every single friendship. But what I just want to like get the point across for is that with every single friendship, there's always a reason for why you're connecting. And just to keep in the mindset that it's okay when friendships grow apart, and sometimes it can feel very painful, and absolutely feel all that. And also just know that whenever something leaves, another thing is always coming, because there's so many people out in the world, and there's so many people who are so excited to be able to like be your friend, and people who are here to like go do things with and to like enjoy each other's company. And sometimes that's all we need. Sometimes you just need to like enjoy someone else's company. Sometimes you just want to be in a space where you could just be like, oh, sometimes I just want to like be doing something with someone else. Like I just want to have someone there that I could just chat with. Sometimes you want more of that deeper conversation. Sometimes you want someone who actually gets you and knows you. And so just kind of like be open and receptive, and again, understand what sort of friendship and what you are wanting to call in. And I also encourage too, so at the Roaming Collective, what I created here, so I really tried to curate the gatherings because I just felt like when I first moved to Austin, I was going to all these different ones. They didn't feel aligned. And I was just like, something needs to be more curated, where it's just kind of like a catch-all, which is great. But sometimes I'm like, I'm wasting time going to these things when I'm like, I don't really feel like I'm connected with anyone. Again, when it was something that I felt like it was being open and I was being in the right mindset for, and then something was no longer feeling aligned. And that is your cue. That is your cue when you know this isn't feeling like it's for me anymore. That is when you know, okay, change paths, let's pivot. And a lot of like the reason for why I created the gatherings was, again, through like my own experiences. And I just felt like I was getting tired of doing the same activity every week. I was tired of meeting different people all the time. And I was just like, consistency is what builds friendships. Like literally, you have to be seeing people consistently and the same people, because sometimes you might have every good intention where you meet someone once, you're like, oh yeah, let's grab coffee. And then you never grab coffee. But it's like when sometimes you actually see these people multiple times, then those friendships just naturally are there and they're cultivated, and like you actually do sometimes have to put energy into your friendships, because that is how they grow. That is how you get to know someone, and that is how you actually feel like you can have that closeness and that bond. And so just taking more time to actually cultivate these friendships and knowing when someone is also giving and receiving that back. So when someone is receptive and someone is like, yeah, let's go hang out, let's go do things, versus someone who's always flaky, not responding, right? So just pay attention to what type of connection you're needing, and maybe saying like, ooh, okay, this friendship isn't maybe feeling like it's aligned anymore because I'm not really getting a response as much, or I'm trying to put in the effort and then that effort isn't being given back. At the Roaming Collective, what I really wanted to create was more of a space where you can actually build some of that consistency, and it's curated. And so I personally love to like chat with people before, so I can kind of understand like, what are you looking for in a friendship? What type of activities do you enjoy doing? Instead of like trying to feel like you're putting in all the effort of going to places and you're trying to like overextend and find all these people. It's like, what if this group was already just like handed to you and all you had to do was show up? And that was kind of in my mindset where I was like, that is where sometimes where I wanted it, where it was more curated instead of just like an event to go to, because sometimes I would feel I would just feel a little disappointed afterwards. And I just felt like it wasn't grasping what I was personally needing during that time. And so when it's curated and people are actually in a group together that you know that they're going to click with, then I feel like that is where so much more connection and just that deep closeness will happen, instead of trying to force it. I'm very intuitive, so I can kind of just sense into things where I'm like, oh, I feel like you would actually really connect with this person, and then this group would actually go really well together. I think that is where so much of my passion comes through in the Roaming Collective, is because I really want to be able to give that to people, and for them to feel like, you know, that you don't have to go to trying to go to all these events all the time and trying to like overextend yourself trying to find your people. And I just wanted to remove some of that stress, so that way it feels like, oh, like that is gone, so then I could just go and show up to something, so I don't have to go to all these like 10 other events just to find someone. Like now I can actually be connected with people who are in a similar mindset, someone who I know that will actually bond with me, and then we'll go to a gathering that is actually curated around the entire group. And so that is the model that I've been doing, and I think people have been really resonating with that, because again, I just want to say, like, if you are also feeling like you're in a season where you're needing friends, there are so many people out there who are also in the same boat, especially since starting this business. I think across the collective and across the community, we're all feeling it. We're all feeling like it's time to really be in person again, and to be with people, and to like actually feel like you have that in-person connection instead of just through phones or just through screens. Sometimes it's nice to just be able to like sit with another person. That's like a big mission that I want to bring back, is to really be able to feel like those relationships and those friendships and everything can be cultivated, because they can. And your friends are out there, they are waiting for you. And there is so much that will happen when you are feeling like you're more open and receptive. And again, the whole thing, go to the things that you actually feel aligned. Go to the things that you are actually excited about and that you feel like, oh, I just have a feeling that I should really attend this. Just check in with that instead of trying to run yourself thin of going to all these million different things and then just feeling like depleted even more. I know that it can feel so hard, especially when you are feeling a lot of loneliness, feeling just defeated, feeling like there might be something wrong with you because you haven't found your friends yet. There is nothing wrong with you. This is so common across the board, and I really would just want to be able to cultivate a community where you feel seen, you feel heard, and you feel like you can find your friends. And I just want to send a little bit of love to you today if you were feeling just a little bit like, just down, and know that friendship can also come at any age. Maybe sometimes it's nice to also be talking with people who are older, people who are younger. Like sometimes it is nice to be able to just like be chatting with people who are in different phases of life. And sometimes it is nice to be able to have those like friendships where even if maybe they are in a different phase, but they are going through something similar, and then you can like bond on that, right? So just be open to any friendship and anything that is like ready to come to you. And I am sending you guys so much love, and I really hope that if you are in Austin, you will be open to coming to a Roaming Collective event and gathering. And if not, please reach out to me. I'm always happy to just chat, to figure out ways that we can also bring in more community for you. I do human design readings, and so those are also a great place to start to figure out, how do I know which places to go are right for me? How do I bring in these different opportunities? How do I kind of navigate some of this? Is also an amazing place to start. And I also have guided audios too. And I have a couple that are for before you go to a gathering, after you go to a gathering. I also have those as well if you want like a meditation or just a guided audio to like prepared, so that way if you do feel like you get a little antsy or if you get a little bit nervous before going to places, those are also a great place. Or like me too, if you feel like afterwards you just need something that kind of gets you like ready to settle as well after you go and attend a gathering. But there's just so many ways to be able to like immerse yourself in it. And I really hope that I really want to be a support for you, and just know that like I have been there. If you've been feeling lonely, if you've been feeling like, where are my friends? Where are my people? I get it so much. And I'm sending you so much of grace and just love, and knowing that it will all work out. It always works out. And so I thank you guys so much for tuning in today. And if you want to follow more, you can also follow us on Instagram or TikTok, both Roaming Collective on both of those. And then we also have our website too. So if you want to learn a little bit more about what I offer, those will also be in the show notes as well. But I am sending you guys so much love and abundance and just so many friendships to come in for you. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.